The group started to walk around the training center, with the kids in the center and Faye leading the front. Behind them was Leo, and now Quinn was sure of it. Leo was staring at him intently. Then he remembered Leo saying something about telling if someone was using an ability or not. Could Leo have discovered Quinn now had an ability? But if so, why wasn't he saying anything? Then, before he knew it, Leo was by his side and moved his head right next to Quinn's ear. "When we're back at the school, let's have a talk, just you and me. I promise I won't hurt you," he whispered. As soon as he finished saying his words, Leo went back to his position as a guard behind them. When Quinn turned around to take a look, he could see that Leo had a big smile on his face. Quinn was finding it hard to trust people these days, but with a face like that, he really couldn't see him doing any harm, and he wanted to know what Leo wanted to talk to him about. Worst case, if he was to meet, he would bring Vorden and Layla along. Finally, they had reached the reception room, the first place they had arrived at when they entered from outside. At the desk, there was a computer with a passcode machine next to it. Faye input the code which allowed her to turn and log into the computer. After she typed away a few things, a large mechanical sound could be heard coming from the direction of the arena. "Well, we would have never been able to open that thing ourselves," Vorden said. Although Quinn thought differently. With his inspect skill, he could have at least got past the passcode machine, but he wondered if it would have helped him with the computer. The group returned from where they had just come, and this time when entering the stadium, rather than just the plain flooring on the arena floor, out from underneath, a large portal had been lifted and placed there. "It looks absolutely fine," Dell complained. "Looks like I carried this thing for no reason at all." As the group walked closer to the portal, Quinn was beginning to hear his heart beat louder, and he wasn't the only one. "What's wrong, boy?" Leo said. "It's nothing," he replied. But it was a lie. After throwing up the food pill, it was clear to him that his body had changed after the last evolution. He could eat food, and now he couldn't, so what about other changes? Before, when walking into the sun, he would lose half his stats. What if this time he just burnt to ashes? Vorden, looking at Quinn, had realized the same thing. "Hey, do you know if it's daytime or nighttime on the other end of this thing? I haven't seen the sun for ages." "The sun should still be out for a couple of hours," Faye replied, "but when you two get back, I suggest you rest." Quinn gulped after hearing those words. "Oh, will you relax?" the system said. "Don't worry, the sun won't kill you." "Really?" "Yes, why would I lie to you? Although it will have a different effect on you." "Like what?" "Well, just wait and see." With the system telling him he had nothing to worry about, his heart started to settle down a bit. It had no reason to lie to him, other than if he was playing some type of sick joke, but then why would it do that? Although knowing the creator's personality through the videos alone, it was something he would totally do. The group stepped into the portal and exited out from the other end. As they opened their eyes, they could see they were in the training hall, the same one where Peter had pushed Quinn. Since they were indoors, no system message had appeared telling him his defects. "But I thought the portal would send us to a random location," Quinn asked. "That's actually only the case with red portals," Faye replied. "It's designed that way, so beasts are unable to know the location. Also, with a planet that has been undiscovered, which is usually the case with red portals, it's hard to pinpoint exact coordinates like we can on Earth." "Vorden, you head back to class. There's some checks I still need to do on Quinn," Haley said. They did as they were told. Quinn followed Haley, while Vorden decided to head back to his dorm room. "Dell, you're free to go, and Leo, you come with me. We will report this back to Nathan, telling him the mission is a success, and I'm guessing he will decide what to do with the true dream body." The students were currently in the middle of their classes. Layla was sitting in her seat, hitting her pen constantly on her table. She moved it up and down in the middle with her fingers. It was something she would do whenever she had something on her mind. She was hoping one of her connections would be able to get Quinn out of there, but he had to be taken to a relatively unknown planet. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got, and all that anger was being directed at Peter. As soon as classes were over and she entered the hallway, she could hear all the other students mumbling away. "Did you hear? Apparently the missing students are back." "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I saw Vorden walking back to the dorms, and Professor Dell was cheering out loudly in the hallway." "Vorden's back, but what about Quinn?" Layla thought. She immediately rushed over to the boys' dorm to see if the rumors she heard were true, but before knocking on the dorm room, She hesitated. The last time she had done something like this, she was strangled by that psycho Vorden. But she needed to know. She wanted to know if Quinn was safe. She gathered her courage and knocked at the door. A few seconds later, and the last person she wanted to see had opened it. It was Vorden. "Look, let me just get to Chase. Where is Quinn?" Vorden smiled as soon as he saw who was at the door. "He's at the doctor's office." "Thank you," she said as she rushed off. "Wait!" Vorden shouted. As she turned around, she could still see a huge grin on his face. "You're not the only one that knows anymore," he said. "What do you mean?" Layla asked. Vorden then started to walk over to her slowly. The grin on his face was beginning to get creepier by the second. "I'm saying you're no longer special and not needed by him anymore, because I know." Layla turned and continued to run, and as she did, she had the final say. "I guess you're still a crazy boy." She ran and ran until eventually she had finally reached the doctor's office. When she entered the room, she noticed that Haley wasn't there, but when she looked at each of the beds, she had finally found him. "Quinn!" she said, surprised. For a moment she had to look him up and down a couple of times. His jawline, his clear skin, and just something about him was pulling her towards him. "What's going on?" she said. "Are you using some type of charm spell on me?" She had read enough vampire novels to know what was happening. Although she was fascinated with Quinn because of what he was, she had never thought he looked handsome, but for some reason her mind was now running wild with thoughts. "Can you turn this thing off?" Quinn said in his head. "Of course, but I thought you would like this," the system replied. "Of course I do, but if it's like this, she won't really like me. It's just because of the system." "Charm stat deactivated." Suddenly, Layla no longer had the urge. But still, looking at Quinn now, he looked different from before, and she had to admit he was now on the same level as Vorden with his looks. Although she didn't like Vorden, she knew a pretty boy when she saw one. "Are you okay? What happened?" she asked. While no one else was in the office, Quinn proceeded to tell Layla everything that happened in the portal world. "I'm sorry I wasn't there," she said. "I said I would help you, but I couldn't." "Hey, don't worry about it," Quinn replied. "I wasn't expecting anyone to jump in after me. That's practically suicide." "He did," Layla mumbled just quite enough so Quinn couldn't understand what she said. For some reason, she felt like Vorden had one-upped her on the loyalty scale. "Just remember, if you need any blood, you can call me. You don't have to really be on Vorden," she said as she rushed out of the doctor's office. It was a nice feeling to have people worry about him. For the first time in his life, Quinn truly felt like he had friends. It was a strange feeling he had never felt before. No one had looked out for him when he was hurt. In the past, when he came back home all beaten up, he always had entered an empty room. No one would ask if he was okay or how he was doing, but ever since getting the system, things were different. After Haley had given Quinn the all-okay to leave the office, he finally returned to his dorm room. Inside, Vorden was playing busy on a handheld device. "Hey man, is everything all okay?" Vorden asked. "They didn't find out you were a—" He looked around the room before finishing the last words. "Vampire, did they?" "Yeah, everything was fine. She said she could find nothing wrong with me, and my blood levels were normal. So she sent me back." As the two of them were talking away, a beep sound was heard from the door, indicating that it had been unlocked. The door opened, and in came Peter.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.